What is the worst reason someone has used to reject you? I just don't want to be in a relationship right now. Then a week later she's dating someone else. Just tell me the truth that you don't want to date me. Hurts a lot less than being lied to like that. No reason given. Just ghosted me. Man the up. Josh. His exact words. I would date you but I don't want my friends making fun of me for dating a fat chick. Years later and I think of this every time I look in the mirror. Edit. Me and the guy were hooking up at the time. I had zero intention of dating him as he was 2 years younger than me and did not give any indication that I wanted to date, which made the statement confusing. 4 years later and the guy still saved my number and Snapchat. He hits me up when he's in town to hook up. I always say no. Last time he texted me was last week. What makes it gross is he has a GF and tries to cheat on her any chance he gets. I'm really into you, but I still think I want to be with my boyfriend for a few more months. But when he goes back to Pennsylvania, we can start going out. I'm not a TV dinner. You can't pop me in the freezer and think I'll be ready to heat up when you're ready for me. My roommate's cat is really sick and needs to go to the vet. Can you take me home? I've got the only car in the house. 1 week later. Hey, how's the cat doing? ... What cat? ... If you're gonna lie, at least remember it for a week. My parents found out your black hangs up. I don't like girls that play RPG, says the lifelong RPG nerd. You must have been too good at grinding. Or not good enough at grinding. High school girlfriend broke up with me after 2 years saying it was God's will we break up. God just did you a solid. I pardon you, God. When I was 14 my best friend wrote me a 2-page breakup letter. In the letter she explained that she needed to improve her social standing and that she couldn't do that and still be associated with me. She outlined her 14-step plan to become popular and apparently step 3 was to cut ties with all her unpopular or weird friends. I only read a few lines before I gave it back and told her she was a moron, that it was a stupid plan and that she could do all that and still be unpopular. She just smiled sadly and wished me well in life, unfriended me from everything and refused to even look at me for 2 months. Well, eventually she realized her plan was bullshit and that her relationship with the popular kids actually got worse because of it, sort of like the end half of Mean Girls, and came crawling back. I like to think I handled that whole situation with maturity and grace, but it really messed me up for a while and it's still one of the most hurtful things a person has ever done to me. Because you rejected me a few months ago, and even though I still like you, it's my turn to reject you. I had this in a job interview. I turned a place down, and the job I got instead didn't work out. A recruiter from the company contacted me a few months later, so I restarted the process. When they worked out who I was, they then cut all contact. I can laugh now, it was over 4 years ago. I felt like I was with a child because I have dwarfism. I don't blame her at all for feeling that way, and it's a totally justified reason to not feel attraction towards me, but did that do a number on my self-esteem. I don't speak English with a French accent, so I wasn't as exotic as they thought I would be. English isn't my first language, but neither is French, so I was quite confused. Apparently I cared too much, and it just wasn't fair to him that he couldn't possibly care as much about me as I did for him. Me up a bit, because that's just how I am, but whatever, I care about people and I'm sorry you were threatened by that. I was apparently too nice. My ex would cancel plans at the last minute and explain in great detail it was so that I'd be disappointed, which would make her feel guilty, which would in turn make the guilt a form of self-punishment for disappointing me in the first place, and also so that we wouldn't do the thing she wanted to do, which would make her disappointed by that fact as a further form of self-punishment for causing the disappointment, all of which would mean that I had inflicted negative emotions on her, i.e., the guilt and disappointment, so that she could be angry about the whole thing. Mercifully, that particular relationship didn't last too long. I was above their league. I literally tried asking them out 3 times and was in love, but apparently I was too good for them. Brew, you might have dodged a bullet there. Any person with that level of low self-esteem is going to have you on a pedestal the entire time, thinking you can do no wrong and you're their savior or their hero. And when you inevitably make a mistake or hurt their feelings, it's going to destroy them. I was in that relationship. 18 years later, the other person still pines for me and is also horrified when I do something outside their perception of what I would do. Straight up told I was ugly. Went out with a girl on 3 dates, just her and I, only to be told, I thought you were just being friendly. I am this girl. Asked a dude to get lunch. We paid separately. It was pretty casual. I thought we were just having lunch. He thought it was a date. Rumors that I had slept with 68 girls since I was the pretty boy of high school. Truth is, I've only slept with 4 women. Still no one believes me, so I guess I'll start embracing it. I'm 24 now. You can sleep with more guys without affecting your women count. She was into really fat dudes and I was only kinda fat. A girl I liked quite a bit turned me down for a second date after the first one went pretty well. I asked her why and she didn't really answer the question. I found out later through a mutual friend that it was because I was the same height as her and she wanted to date someone taller. I'm 5'9". She had a really nice house, but she was upset that my house was bigger. A different woman was upset because I did not hang the toilet paper the right way. I never pay attention to the way it is hung. It just happened to be the wrong way that particular day. After I saw her reaction, I did not bother to explain myself. Individual A. Sorry, succubic unicorn. I'm not really in a good place to date anyone right now. 1 week later, mutual friend, succubic unicorn. Did you hear that individual A has been dating individual B for the last week? We just aren't compatible. You like pineapple on your pizza. I can't be with someone like that. It's not you, it's me. I like you. I just can't handle your gay side. After she had outed me to my entire high school for being bi, she broke up with me after. I didn't like aubergine. Therefore I was rejected 5 minutes into conversation. I still think the real reason wasn't told. The fact that you called it an aubergine instead of an eggplant is probably the real reason. I was too wealthy. I knew this guy didn't have as much money as me and he was a single dad. I paid for a lot of the more expensive dates, or at least paid for my half. I'd only let him pay for cheap dates. That affected his male ego, so he dumped me because he said I'll eventually leave him for a man that can take care of me. Didn't get asked out on a second date in college because my FP was too high. FP equals fat potential. I like you a lot, but you have too little ambition in your life for my standard. I work a job I really love, and I don't have any diplomas or whatever. From the moment he knew that, I wasn't worth anything anymore. Really hurt for a while, and even years later when I feel like shit, it comes up in my mind. I asked a girl I had a crush on to prom, being very cheesy with my promposal too. I asked her before third hour and she said that she doesn't want to because my dad is hotter. I instantly lost my feelings for her and ended up asking a hot freshman instead. Not me but my boyfriend's line. This girl asked him out before we met and he told her verbatim, "I can't, my parents are getting a divorce." Cracks me up to this day. I mean, honestly, that makes sense. Shit like that can be traumatic on the psyche. My parents divorced when I was 26, and it put a damper on my own marriage. See, my whole life they were always happy around each other. Made me wonder if my marriage would end the same. Luckily I got over that damper quickly. I like you too much. I look at you and think what an amazing mother you would be to our kids, and I don't want to be with someone I like that much. He was playing Pokemon Yellow and I was playing Pokemon Blue. Missed trading opportunity. Me, hey, do you wanna go to the movies sometime? Her, Yahoo's coming. Me, I was just thinking it could just be us. Her, says nothing for 1 minute. Her, she blocked me. I got kicked out of our friend group and she didn't say a word to me for 2 years. So yeah, that's my story. The worst reason is no reason. They refuse to give you one even if you ask, not to get them back but to be better for the next one. But no, I'm not the type who gets butthurt about criticisms, and if you wanna get out of my life, Go ahead, but how about giving me a closure? Dude said he didn't date Asian chicks. A year later, HES dating an Asian chick. Worst thing for my self-confidence lol. Never been rejected personally, but a friend was rejected after kissing a crush who apparently found his technique disgusting. The shock of going from success to failure so quickly put him into a funk for a while. Poor guy. He's sensitive. 2. I really like you, but you're too good of a friend for me to risk losing you. Got turned down once because I work overnights. I kinda get worrying about compatible schedules. But seriously, it was a date, not asking to move in. Just so bizarre. Regular rejections I at least can understand, but because I work nights. I have a friend that asked her crush to prom and he said nah, I have better things to do. She came up with an elaborate idea too. It was really sad. Girl I was dating for 2 months said 2 months telling me how amazing I was, how unique I was, and that she cared more for me than she thought possible for the amount of time we'd been dating. Dumped me because she wanted to date multiple people and experience dating in general, rather than staying with one guy who cares about her. When I was in 7th grade, a girl asked me out and I said thanks but no thanks. I found out later that she did it to make my friend jealous, so I don't feel too bad about it.